Flight, the final season. Uh, for the butterfly, I feel like the butterfly season is the one that oftentimes I look at and I'm the most excited about. I'm like, yes, if I have made it to the butterfly, I have arrived. Like, who cares about these other seasons when I'm stuck inching along the ground or in the
Yeah.
chrysalis or, kind of trying to get my wings unfurled. When I look at it, that's what I think. Ah, this
Yeah.
is it. I've made it. I can fly. And I realize that when I sit with the thoughts, that's probably not 100% true. There's more to flight than just, okay, here we go, take off into the sunset. And I feel like every time we talk about a season, you always have something very specific
Yeah.
that you are highlighting for each season. So I'm curious, when you look at flight and we've arrived, you've made it to the butterfly, what is it that stands out about that season for you?
Yes. And similar to what you had just said, I realized the first time I started kind of specifically thinking about the caterpillar butterfly cycle and how our lives are reflected in those seasons and the seasons of change. I thought about the butterfly and it was kind of like, oh, well, you've arrived. Like, there's nothing more to do. Okay, you're the butterfly. You finally reached your destination. Here you
Yes.
go. And then it was like, wait a second. That's not true. I've never flown before. I don't know how
Right.
that works. I haven't ever learned to navigate air currents before. When would I have done that? Right? And so pulling in these elements of, oh, wait a minute, there's still learning happening in the season. So I'm in the season of flight, but there's still learning happening. But it's now learning that's happening from a very different perspective. So all of
Right.
the seasons that have fed into who I am have led up to this point because there's no way I could get to this point without having gone through those seasons. I get to bring all the wisdom, all the good things, all those nuggets that have been happening in my life and the things that kind of like those core values, whatever those things are that are developing in me, those get to be expressed in a whole new way in the butterfly season. Because now I get to see the world from the 10,000 foot view. I mean, maybe not 10,000 feet for a butterfly, but I get to fly. I get to see the world from a completely different perspective.
Right.
I get to move about more freely. The legs stand out to me, like my little short, stubby legs of my caterpillar season versus my long, spindly legs in my butterfly season. And the fact that I had no legs in the chrysalis goo season, like there
Good
weren't any
point.
legs. Like my movement was incredibly restricted, even in the breaking out. I was only walking a little bit while I'm spreading the wings and letting them air out. It's not like I'm going all over the place. So all of a sudden, the butterfly season for me is where freedom begins to open up in new ways that it didn't before. And it's not freedom in a vacuum. So it's not like, oh, I've just come here and now I just forget everything else. It's
Right.
like, no, I get to bring all the beautiful learnings that have led to this point because that's all what got me here. And now I'm learning and everything feels a little bit lighter, just like the butterfly is lighter. The food sources that I consume are different. Literally, I'm now going to flowers instead of leaves. Like, how amazing is that? How much more colorful and engaging. I'm drinking the nectar now. And I was even thinking about how different butterflies consume different types. We know the monarch butterfly has particular plants that it's looking for. There's just so many cool facets of that. And I'm like, ooh, it's more colorful, it's more vibrant. There's a lot of new experiences, and the learning is happening, but instead of the learning, at least in my mind, instead of the learning feeling so intentional like the way it does in the caterpillar stage, where I'm very focused on eat my leaves, consume content. I'm learning, very
Right.
intentionally learning and growing. Here I am as the butterfly fluttering around. That stage feels more like I'm learning, but it's just happening as I go. It's not the focus. The focus is the enjoyment of the flight. The focus is the enjoyment of looking around me and seeing the beauty that surrounds me. I don't know. I think that that's an exciting thing because it's not just my final destination. It's not like, oh, I've arrived, that's it. It's like,
Right.
no, this is the if you like the harvest from the seeds that I've been sowing all up into the season. I'm getting to enjoy the rewards for what I've done to this point, and I think it's a very beautiful season. and yet still one where there is still learning. It's not, like I
Yeah.
said, it's not devoid of learning.
And I
but
like
the
that
learning is not the
perspective.
primary.
I like the perspective of I haven't actually arrived, but I am reaping the reward of all the hard work I put in
Yeah.
as a caterpillar in the chrysalis when I broke out of those stages.
Mm-hmm.
And in reaping the reward and the benefit, I'm still learning, I'm still changing, but
Mm-hmm.
I have a very different perspective. I mean, the viewpoint of the butterfly versus the viewpoint of the caterpillar. You know, the caterpillar can get up high, but he can only get up to the tip of the plant, whereas the butterfly can actually take off. And, you know, some butterflies fly halfway across the world. So
Yeah.
the perspective is radically different from the
Radically.
caterpillar who isn't going to go halfway across the world, maybe halfway across the yard,
Yes.
winning, you know, in that season of
exactly.
life, but not halfway across the world. And I think the first time I heard you say that, I haven't arrived, but I'm reaping the reward. I was just like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah. That's the thing. I think my brain's just like, no, I've arrived. And when I think I've arrived, it's okay, I'm done. I'm done.
Right.
now.
I don't have to do anything.
Like all of the parts of me that want to be done. I don't want to do this anymore. Now I'm done with I never have to deal with change again. Life now is just going to be an easy breezy walk in the park while I fly
Yeah.
from flower to flower. When I heard you say it the first time, I was like, oh, yeah, that's the thing that niggles in the back of my mind. It's like, well, no, you haven't arrived. This is also a season. It's just a season in which you get to reap the benefit and the reward of all the hard work that you put in before. And you get to enjoy that different perspective, which is very beautiful. I think in a lot of ways more fulfilling than the idea that I've arrived. I mean, my desire to have arrived is oftentimes from a place of fear. I don't want to have to do it again. I don't want to have to go through change again. Can we just stop now instead of, like, when you say it, I'm like, oh, well, that feels like kind of a nice invitation. Like, well, I haven't arrived yet, but I get to reap the reward. And I think that in me, it almost gives this little bit of excitement and hope. So if I did it again, I could get back to this stage.
Yes.
And I don't have to stop learning and absorbing information. Like all the good things about each of the stages suddenly feel like they have permission to feel good to me, if that makes sense.
Yes.
And I like
Yeah.
that. Like it's like a little bit of hope. If you're facing a lot of change and it feels really uncomfortable, for me, the way you describe it feels like hope, an invitation to, hey, you haven't arrived, but this is a great viewpoint. This is a great place to enjoy the benefit of all your hard work. And you get to come back here as you go through those cycles and seasons of change again.
A few years ago, I began to realize I don't think I ever arrive in this lifetime. Ever. That's just not going to happen. That's just not part of it. And as I began to process that, it feels like it's been more freeing to recognize that I'm not arriving, because when I think about arriving, it's like you said, we just stop doing anything. And I'm like, well, I don't know that I want to do that. And I wonder if that's why some people, when they retire, find it so challenging, because there was this idea that you retire and you're done. Well, you're done, but you are still very much alive.
Right.
And I also think that it makes it so beautiful looking at the cycle of the butterfly caterpillar in our human lives, that we can go through that multiple times. You can go through the different stages more than once, but each time it's going to be building on whatever came before. It's going to be building on that. And all of a sudden it feels like I can, just like you've been saying, embrace. I can embrace each season for what it is, without this stress or pressure of I have to perform or meet this standard or expectation.
Right.
And simply be in this moment. And I can embrace the season I'm in, and I can enjoy it, even if it's hard, even if it's facing the unknown of the cell soup and what's this going to look like on the other side. We don't know. And the beauty of the butterfly stage, I think, is just truly embrace that and savor the beautiful moments, because I feel like there's maybe even more of them than there are in some of the other seasons. Like,
Yeah.
it feels like a richer season. Like when I think about landing on all these different beautiful flowers, that I now consume completely different food. Even the information when I think about in my humanness, the sources that are filling me up and the sources of positive input in my life look different and feel different.
Right.
It doesn't mean that those other ones aren't good, the ones that served me and nourished me in the other seasons. It's just they're not for this season. recognizing that gives me a sense of peace, because sometimes I will struggle when I'm like, oh, I'm not learning the way that I did when I'm in the caterpillar season. I'm not studying. Right now, I'm not consuming tons of books the way that Rebecca and I have at various points.
Right.
Am I still reading books and still learning? Absolutely I am. But I'm not reading 3 or 4 at a time. I'm reading maybe 1 at a time. So it's an interesting dynamic to allow myself to be a little bit lighter with the change that's happening in this season of Butterfly than the other seasons.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it.
Anything else you want to add, Rebecca?
No, I think it's so interesting to me how each season is. I think you can always say more about every season, but I find some seasons so much easier to sum up than other seasons. And I think sometimes that's, for me at least, the sensations that come with them. You know, with like the butterfly, that sense of hope. I think I get to a point where I'm like, okay, let's just sit with that. Just to sit with that for a little bit. That's good. We're good. Like the hope that we're good, you know, that I get to sit in it and enjoy it. And yeah, I love that.
Yay. Well, as always, we invite you to continue living fully present, recognizing the season you're in, and creating meaningful change. Have a great week.
Thanks, guys.